What's good, everyone? Hope everyone's having a blessed morning. This is Jared O11 Green with another episode of the Black Man's Perspective. Of course, I have my brothers on the panel. I have the general, head of the mighty LDBC 78 Sports TV. What's going on, brother?
I'm chilling, brother. How you doing?
Man, I can't complain about anything. I'm blessed, man. Glad to have you on.
Glad to be here, bro.
I appreciate you. And Coach, my right hand man from Southern Baller Show, talking about sports. I call him Mr. Southern because he's a Southern Southern Jaguar alumni. What's going on? What's good with you, brother?
Peace and blessings to y'all gentlemen this morning. How y'all doing this blessed morning?
You good, bro?
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
complain, man.
That's a blessing.
I can't
That's a
complain.
blessing.
But we gonna cook on it, man, and I also share the links with a couple of other brothers they can hop on. But we gonna talk about it, man. Are American blacks aware that their families are under attack? So I'm gonna play before we go into the conversation. I'm gonna play some videos and fair use YouTube uh, to get everything started. All right, give me one moment. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
No, I can't hear nothing.
Yeah, I can't hear anything either. The volume is up.
Our clips start off low, but it gets louder as you get to about the 4 minute and 20
Things they
second
told
mark.
me was
There we go.
that he was at the house one night and we were talking and he started laughing. He said, Aaron, what do you think women's liberation was about? And I said, I'm pretty conventional thinking about it.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it was on her end. Okay, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Okay, never mind.
Things they told me was that he was at the house one night and we were talking and he started laughing. He said, Aaron, what do you think women's liberation was about? And I said, I'm pretty conventional thinking about it at that point. I said, I think it's about women having the right to work, getting equal pay with men, just like they won the right to vote, you know? And he started to laugh. He said, you're an idiot. And I said, why am I an idiot? He said, let me tell you what that was about. We, the Rockefellers, funded that. We funded women's lib, you know? And we're the ones who got all over the newspapers and television, the Rockefeller Foundation. He says, and you want to know why? He said, there were two primary reasons. And one reason was we couldn't tax half the population before women's lib. And the second reason was now we get the kids in school at an early age. We can indoctrinate the kids how to think. It breaks up the family. The kids start looking at the state as the family, as the school, as the officials, as their family, not as the parents teaching them. And so those are the two primary reasons for women's lib, which I thought up to that point was a noble thing. You know, when I saw their intentions behind it, where they were coming from when they created it, the thought of it, I saw the evil behind what I thought was a noble venture.
Aaron, did you know that Gloria Steinem, in one of her own books, now admits the CIA funded this magazine?
No, I had no idea about that. No, I never heard that.
Yeah, we're going to
CIA funded Ms. Magazine?
funded Miss Magazine with the stated goal of taxing women and breaking up the family.
No kidding. I never heard that. Well, Nick told me. I mean, I know it, but not because I know the CIA was involved in it.
Well, Gloria Steinem was proud of it. Oh, the CIA would have helped me help women.
No kidding.
So they funded it. Yeah, and of course it's divide and conquer.
Right,
And
of
what
course.
they do is they focus in, obviously, on real problems. Women were getting shafted in many ways, but the elite wasn't planning to help them. They were planning to really shaft them and take men away from them. Look at what they did with black families. We only had about 10% illegitimacy 50 years ago in black communities, and now it's over 90%. and look at welfare. You were going to give you some money. You can't have a man in the house.
Right.
And so that was further to degrade the family, totally destroyed, and now illegitimacy is over 50% in the general population.
Of our sisters are not married. 29% will never get married. 63% of our brothers are not married. 30% of them will never get married. There is no culture in the history of humankind that has risen to maximize their full human potential without family at the center of their culture. This only exists. This is an interesting but negative statistic. This phenomenon of the existential crisis of our family only exists among African American Black people. It does not exist on the continent or anywhere else in the diaspora. So there must be something in the water. We must fix this. It is a lot easier said than done because it is impacting our wealth. Quick statistics. For 350 years, household median income was dominated by white people. They were number one in this country. They no longer are number one, they're number three, and there's a reason for it. So who has the highest household median wealth in America? It's East Indians, $104,000 a year. What's the marriage rate in the East Indian culture? 94%, two are working. Who's number two? Chinese Asians. Household median income, $110,000 a year. Marriage rate close to 70%. Number three are white people. Household median income, $88,000 a year. What's the marriage rate? Almost 50%. Down significantly. Number four are Hispanics. Household median income, $61,000 a year. Marriage rate, close to 70%. We are at the bottom. Household median income, $55,000 a year. Marriage rate, 34%. And projected based on facts and statistics that if we do not fix this, because white folks ain't fixing this, our marriage rate will be in the low teens in the next 20 years. We must, this is an enormous challenge. That's a whole talk by itself on how do we fix it. It can be fixed, but we have to, first of all, understand that this is a problem. No one's talking about this problem. This is a huge problem. It's the number one problem in our culture. So we must fix it. Oh.
Victorian era, and men used to treat women with an extreme amount of deference because the generations living then remembered a time when the world was a lot more difficult than people now remember it being. So the physical inequality between men and women was emphasized because the world was a much more difficult place. Men took a paternalistic and patriarchal view on how women should be treated, and women wanted men to take them. They wanted to be safe. They wanted to be provided for. They wanted to make sure that children were safe. And men did what they could. Now, men have won. The fact we've got aeroplanes flying overhead and the fact that we're not about to be invaded is the victory of Western man. Then, for some reason, women decided, okay, well, I'm not afraid anymore. I want what you have. You don't do the things that we do, so you can't have what we have. But men just want women to be happy. They want them to love them. They want their approval. And so if gaining women's approval means pretending women are equal to men or, saying this, that, the other, whatever it is, they'll do it. And it's completely taken men off of the throne that they sat on. This throne was never imposed by authority, actually. It's imposed by consent. And the second women withdrew their consent for the man to be on that throne, the throne collapses and the men are just standing around going, okay, well, I guess I'll just play video games and drink beer all day and smoke weed. If you don't need me, I won't do anything. Because that's really the whole raison d'etre of being a man, just be needed by someone else. And it's always been women. You can go back to...
All right, brothers, I'm gonna stop it right there as far as Sister Crimson Cure video. Let me, because I know we're pressing with time. Let me play one more video for you guys.
Yeah, that last clip isn't super relevant anyway. It's just a
Yeah.
modern white woman saying, "Hey, this is why we feminists because we're trying to take down the patriarchy." Blah 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 blah.
Right. Yeah, that's not what we. Yeah. This. Yeah. Let's play. And this is Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
To believe at birth. There are more black boys born in the world than there are girls. It's close, but it's 1.03 black boys born in the world to 1.0 black girls. Hear me clearly. At birth, black boys outnumber black girls 1.03 to 1.0. A brief 18 years later, it is now 1.0 available, and that's the key word, available black men, to 1.8 available black women. Almost 2 adult women for every 1 adult man. Now, the only question that should be going through your minds right now is what happened? We keep raising the wrong question. We keep asking, why do black men hang on corners? Why do black men lack direction? Well, if you ask this question, you answer the question 18 to 30 years too late. It is not a conspiracy to destroy black men. It's a conspiracy to destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. And I can look around the room and tell you know where are they. If they are not available to black women, where are they? Call the road. In jail, there are 329,000 brothers in prison right now. 1 of every 4 brothers will go to prison. Where else? Or death. There's numerous ways that we die. There's homicide, suicide, drugs, war, high blood pressure, and the leading killer among black men, lung cancer. Our love for cigarettes, especially cool. Smoke them all day long, die the exact same way. Cool. Where else? We have prison, death. What else to make us unavailable to black women? Yes, homosexuality. As you said earlier, 1 of every 9 men in this country are homosexual. Where else? Yes.
Hospitalized, institutionalized.
Okay, so institutionalization, and there's not only in terms of hospitals, but also mental institutions, and of course, when they get released, many times being homeless. There's still one other large popular area. Thimby?
They marry white women.
Okay, interracial marriages. Now I want to pause there for a moment, because you would think if anybody is going to marry outside the race, it would be black women. You got 2 black women for every 1 black man. But as Thimby pointed out, it's exactly the opposite. There are 164,000 interracial marriages, of which 116,000 are brothers. That means 48,000 sisters. It's almost a 2-to-1 ratio of black men to black women marrying outside the race. But remember, as you said in the earlier workshop, if the definition of beauty is light skin, long hair, and blue eyes, why stop with Renee, the light-skinned sister? Why not get you the real thing? There's some serious problems here. And then black men tell me, I can't find a black woman to understand me. You mean out of 20 million black women, you can't find one to understand you? You don't need a white woman, you need a psychiatrist. But that's another workshop on relationships. But I just want to share with you, we got some very serious problems. But to tease this audience, black women are tired of being by themselves. And in the earlier issue of Essence magazine, the article said, guess who's coming to dinner now? Black women are tired of being by themselves. In other words, brothers, you can't have it both ways. You can't have 2 black women to choose from and still marry a white woman. You can't have it both ways. Black women are tired of being by themselves. Now, that's with regards to the stats, why we wrote the book, because we saw the shortage of black men. But what we want to begin to find out is, when did it start? You see, it's called the 4th grade syndrome. Studies show that black boys may be the best students in the country up until the 4th grade. So we wanted to find out what your son, a male student, was doing at the beginning of the 3rd grade, then at the end of the 7th grade, and then measure the progress. Let me give you 3 examples. We had a little boy 5 years ago on an Alva reading test score at the 98th percentile in the country. In other words, a walking genius. That means only 2% male, female, white, or black had a higher score than he at the beginning of the 3rd grade. At the end of 7th grade, the same boy now drops down to the 35th percentile. Engineer potential here, pimp or pusher now, scores should have improved 5 years, instead they only improved 1.3. 2 more examples. We had a little boy at the 92nd percentile. He dropped down to the 24th percentile, and his scores only improved 2.1. But let me give you the average example. We had a little boy at the 63rd percentile. He dropped down to the 4th percentile, and his score didn't improve a year, a month, a week, not even a day. There are 3 critical stages in black boys' development: infancy, to 9, 9 to 13, and 13 to 18. You see, it's easy to see the negative behavior here when he's already dropped out, laid up on some street corner lacking direction. It's more difficult to see it around 9 years of age, when they begin to sit further in the back of the class, when they begin to ask less questions, when their ball becomes more important in their book, when they begin to cheat on their tests. We appeal to you to turn your sons and male students on early, teach them how to read early, teach them the beauty of being Black and believing in God early. And many of us have waited, and we have waited almost too late to develop Black boys to be men. You know what I'm getting at. America spends $2,300 on Head Start. They spend $38,000 on prison. If Reagan wanted to balance the budget, I can show you save about $36,000 per person. It's much easier to educate than it is to incarcerate. Now you raise the questions. How long do you stay in Head Start? Year? 2 years is the most? How long do you stay in prison? The rest of your life? Question number one. Question number two, does Head Start work? A 19-year study documents that Head Start works, but in prison, 85% of the inmates that get released go right back in. But as Jesse Jackson says, we have two choices. We can either send me to Penn State or to State Penn. It's your choice. We have got to find ways to intervene. Now, we have a whole workshop just on the 4th grade syndrome. I now want to ask you, what are some of the reasons you feel to explain why Black students, especially Black boys, were doing so well K through 3, and now scores declining in the intermediate?
And fellas, there's so much good stuff here. And that's brother Jawansa Kunjufu. And then we shout out the YouTube channel because I don't want to just play his video without real Black one. So, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to him and Sister Chris McCurry if you guys are interested. But the reason why that was prevalent, and I want to show everyone that, especially with Dr. Jawanza Kajufu, is dealing with Black men, how they attack us when we're small. Because I don't know about y'all, I remember being in Head Start. And I can tell you, it wasn't really how I want to say it.
But it wasn't productive?
It wasn't really productive. I understand what he was saying. It wasn't really productive like that. Even though I was very small and very young, I can feel what he's talking about.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, before we get to the actual topic itself, Head Start was pretty productive for me. Looking at my Head Start class when I was, I think, like 2 and 3, a lot of the people that I was in Head Start with, they ended up going on to college.
So basically, same here, but there was a lot of my friends that I grew up with. A lot of them were end up being on the streets and gangs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of Black boys slip through the cracks. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I've seen it firsthand as a teacher. I'll talk about that later when, after the general, cook on what you gonna cook on.
Yes, but I just wanted to show everyone this video before we get started. Just to get the gist of what we're talking about. So let me get back to the slides. So based on what we just saw, what are your thoughts so far, General?
Yeah, it's all good information. Good information that a lot of us knew for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But as for the question, are American Blacks aware that their families are under attack? I say no. We're not aware because some of us know, but the masses don't know. Because once you know something, it's your responsibility to fix it or to do better. Once you know better, you got to do better, and that's not happening in our community. We've fallen into we're just very easily manipulated people.
Yeah.
It irritates me to no end to watch Black people be this gullible is this easy to manipulate. Um, the internet gender war between black men and black women, well, it's really men and women, but it affects us differently.
Yes.
Uh, that internet gender war is disgusting, right? If we have a situation where um, combining our incomes, you got a sister that she might be making 40, $50,000 a year. She married a brother that's making around the same. All right. Now together, y'all have more power, more economic power than you do separated. But people are so childish and petty. They'd rather do like they say, Tyler Perry. I can do bad by myself. Shut up. That's the stupidest phrase I ever heard. I can do bad by myself.
Hmm.
That's just dumb. And women just go around repeating these little phrases that these dudes be coming out with, these little sissies. So first of all, by combining your incomes, you have a greater net worth, you have greater spending power, you have a greater ability to take care of your family. But so many of our people, first out of trouble, arguments or something, they splitting up. She living over here, you living over there, the kid living over here. So y'all, and the kid, your kid gonna need help. Kid gonna need help every other month. They gonna need a couple $100 showing their rent, their car
Hmm.
note, this and that. All you fools can be in the same house, pulling our resources together, saving thousands of dollars. But because somebody want the freedom to go put their mouth on cock without nobody judging them, and some other dude want freedom to go and trick off all his money to some stanky broad that don't care about him, you cost yourself tens of thousands of dollars a year. That's what happens in our community all the time. What pisses me off about it is people who I had this conversation with and try to encourage them to stay with their woman, encourage women to stay with their man, whatever. Y'all should get married. Nah, I'm good. Nah, I like me. I gotta do me. I'm gonna do me. Fine. But what pisses me off is don't come asking me for no money. Don't come asking me to borrow no money. Hey man, I can't. I don't think I can do nothing.
Facts.
I think I need to worry about my black family. And you know what I'm saying? That's what I need to do. I'm not you see, I'm married for a reason. So if I got all my family under one roof and we doing what we supposed to do, pulling our resources, did you choosing purposely to not do that? You ain't, bro. You get your hand out of my pocket. You ain't getting none of this. Oh man, you got to hold 500 till this day. No, I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure who all y'all that want to be single and proud single, y'all need to go pull y'all research together and have some building fund or something like that. Whatever y'all gonna come up with, have some type of fund to help y'all out. Cause I ain't wasting my money no more.
I feel you. You gonna let the enemy or your conditioned mind destroy your family, but now you asking for handouts or
It's ridiculous, bro.
asking for money. Yeah, no, that's not how that works, man. And after you tried to help them,
Right. I have to try to help.
yeah, we definitely got to do better, man. Um, Coach, based on the information we just saw, and then um, the standing question, what are your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, to answer your question, are Americans black aware that their families are under attack? No. And kind of the way the sister Kendra Crimson Cure, shout out to Crimson Cure. I love her channel. She's doing excellent work. And content creators like her are bringing awareness to this issue. And the reason why the clip of her it brings such context to this particular argument is first and foremost, it shows the origins of feminism. Because, like she pointed out in the live stream she did yesterday, feminism and integration has done more harm to the black family than chattel slavery, than Jim Crow, than redlining, than COINTELPRO, the assassination of our leaders, mass incarceration. Like all of these things are like CIA, COINTELPRO, destabilization tactics that the government has used. So first and foremost, when you see like these OF models on these different platforms, and they have like blue hair, purple hair, and they talking about the patriarchy and this, that, and the third. That is not the real genesis and origin of feminism. Like the first clip that we saw, essentially the Rockefellers, they talk about the patriarchy, but in all actuality, the Rockefellers are the top 1% at the time in this country. So they bankroll feminism so they can tax not only the man, but they can tax the woman. And not only that, but since you're the top 1%, you push women into the workforce. Now you have more workers for your Fortune 500 company or Fortune 500 companies. So you put the women into the workforce. Now you have more workers. And in addition to that, not only do you have more workers, you can tax them. All right, moving the ball further down the road. They always talk about the CIA. They bankroll some of this to a Gloria Steinem, and she admits to this day that the CIA funded it, and that basically feminism is a destabilization tactic, and it has impacted Black families more than any other family. Don't get me wrong. You see, on different platforms with this gender war, you see women talk about the patriarchy and this, that, and the third, and blah, 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 blah. However, when you look at marriage rates, if you look at marriage rates in like the 1960s, Black families were married at, over 85% clip, at a 90% clip in certain statistics. And now at the bottom, 25% of Black women get married, 30% of Black men, 30% of Black men are married, 25% of Black women, and you have more economic spending power as a unit, as a family unit. And not only that, but in terms of having a Black community, you have no community without the nuclear family. And, for those individuals that have not checked out 7-8's Patreon, he has a lot of gems and a lot of jewels on the Patreon, similar to this particular topic we're talking about.
Yes.
And, he talks about, certain aspects of this argument that we're talking about. But in terms of the whole gender war, this is what feminism wanted. And, he talked about like the Democratic Party, how they push certain agendas, the zesty movement. Realistically, that's what they want. They want the man and the woman divided, but in particular, the Black man and the Black woman divided from a financial standpoint, so you could benefit from it. Because, we talk about what group of people spends more in terms of a materialism standpoint. It's the Black community. Like, if, they projected that if you took Black people in this country in terms of their spending habits and so on and so forth, we'll be like the 7th wealthiest nation in the world from a spending power standpoint. So instead of you putting a Black man and Black woman together and having a nuclear family, hey, you separate this Black man from this Black woman, and she's gonna spend all of her money. Like, hey, it's a tool and a tactic that white supremacy has used, and it separates our families. And I'm not gonna lie, in terms of feminism, the thing I can't stand is, don't get me wrong, you have, other groups of women that buy into feminism, but for whatever reason, the Black woman has bought into feminism more than any other race of woman. Hey, I'm strong, I'm independent, I don't need no man. But yet, you're on Section 8, yet you get government assistance. Hey, you got 2 children by 2 different men, but you get child support, and you're on Section 8. Like, you're not as strong and independent as you think you are. So a lot of these manipulation tactics that the government has used, and realistically, feminism is is a tool that white supremacy and that the government is used to divide families, and particularly, however, the black family in this context.
Okay. Okay. I definitely agree with both of your points. Unfortunately, especially nowadays, and shout out to Sister Shawalaya. Um, she said it. She said it in the chat. Not aware. A lot of black folk are not aware, and many don't consider or care. Sadly, especially this new generation of black folks. Not all, but most. Um, they don't really care about the black family. They'll get with a white woman or Hispanic or Asian man and create their own family and go from there. They can care less, but that's not their fault. That's their moms and dads and their elders did not put any value on why the black family is important, and that's why we're dealing with some of the issues today. We don't value each other. Uh, let's move on to the other topic. Um, with the Willie Lynch method still in play, how do we oppose it? So how will the black family oppose the Willie Lynch letter? So basically, the light skins versus the dark skin, the old versus the young, uh, putting the women over the man, and basically devaluing the man or making him feel like a little child. That's basically I'm just uh, shortening the Willie Lynch, and of course, there's more detail into the Willie Lynch letter, but I'm just giving you the gist of it. So, brother 78, well, how would you just how would you break down the Willie Lynch letter to your family,
Yeah. Um.
or to
Yeah.
watch out for it, or the mindset?
Well, the Willie Lynch letter is kind of easy to follow if you pay attention to it. So you read the you read the effects of it, his methods. And, some dummies gonna argue that it's fake. He never existed. Whatever. The science exists.
Hell, it's working.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like it's just goofy stuff. So now, um, when it comes to the Willie Lynch letter, the way I counter it is to do my best to my ability, educate myself on it, educate the my family on it, and make sure that whenever I'm thinking about snapping on the wife or leaving or anything, I remember that letter, and I remember uh, how we got into this situation as a people. So um, I think the more black families should study the Willie Lynch. That should be a topic of conversation at the dinner table. But see, family in general don't operate like family no more. Like we don't sit down at the dinner table and eat in the kitchen or the dining room. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their plate and they go to their respective corners. You know what I'm saying?
Got their phones out, yeah.
Right. So and that's what happens. But so many discussions like the Willie Lynch letter should be taking place in the household. Um, but that's not happening right now. So um, I oppose the Willie Lynch letter by educating myself on it and making sure I'm not doing anything that would encourage that type of. Because we all sick. All of us are sick. We
Yes,
all got flaws. We all got some remnants and traces of the Willie Lynch letter in us. No matter how conscious or smart you is, it's there as a product of being a captive or prisoner of war. Will have some type of trauma left over. You
you
know,
said that many years ago, and it always stuck with me, man, because I remember I had this uh black woman boss, man, and uh she was she how I would say it. She talked like this. the stereotypical, like, ghetto, you
Right,
know.
right.
But she was the best supervisor I ever had, and she was the best supervisor at the job. She was, the she was over them white folks, them other white suits. She was great. So, and it made me feel bad because, like you said, that stereotype.
Right.
I was thinking she gonna be, just shiftless, trifling, you know, and some of them are out there, but unfortunately, there are some that do reinforce the stereotype. Unfortunately, but um, you can't have that mindset. You can't be looking for it because you
Right.
see somebody black or um, light skin or whatever the case may be. But brother 780, was that it? Did you have anything else?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, all right. Coach, to you, how would you oppose the how would you educate your family to oppose the Willie Lynch letter of the mindset?
Well, first and foremost, for me, I'm not gonna lie, we didn't learn about the Willie Lynch letters in high school. It wasn't till I got to college. I graduated from Southern University at HBCU, and one of my professors at Southern, he wrote his own like book or whatever the case may be, talking about the Willie Lynch letters. And in his Black American history class that he taught, uh, you needed to buy. He wrote this manual, and you needed to purchase it as a part of the class. You know, and initially, when I was in college, I'm like, dang, that was a way for him to make it come up. But then I realized, like, hey, we buy all these other textbooks from all of these other classes, and they require you to buy a $100 textbook that a white manufacturer wrote, whereas he wrote his own like manual, and you go buy it from the bookstore across the street. He benefited from it. So, it's better that I put money in his pocket as opposed to, one of these major manufacturers. And we learned about it in college. And, like 7A said, you need to educate yourself about it. And you definitely need to educate your family, not just the family you have, not just your immediate family. However, extended family members like aunts and uncles and cousins and so on and so forth. Because, one thing that 7-8, says constantly that really kind of sticks with me. He's saying 2025, or at the time it's 2024, like the dopest thing you could do in America is raise a black family. And that's the goal I strive for every day because, I grew up in a nuclear family. When senior passed, it was like a month and like a week and a half after my 25th birthday. And it was like a few days before my sister's 22nd birthday. And it was like less than a month away from him and my mom's 30th wedding anniversary. So I think the main thing you need to do is educate yourself, educate your family, and then understand, whether we talking about, the destabilization tactics they use. And there's a variety of different things that the CIA has done to destroy the black community. That's one thing I do, looking at this topic or looking at any other topic. You kind of look at the origin of a thing and you kind of attack it from that standpoint and from that perspective. Because if you know that this was the reason why feminism came into existence, all right, now I know how to address it. If you know that the Willie Lynch letters is a thing that existed, and this is what it intended to do, it intended to put American blacks against Africans or other members of the diaspora, or intended to put young black people against old black people, or light skin against dark skin with the colorism. You know how to attack your enemy, your adversary, if you know the tactics they're using. So I think it's imperative that we educate ourselves, we educate our family, and in addition to that, we study the tactics that our enemy use, so we can know about it, know about strategizing and going about, defeating them at their own game. And one thing feminism has done, even though I know we talked about the Willie Lynch letters, it has kind of programmed our sisters to be, hey, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, so and so, such and such and so forth. So in terms of the black man against the black woman, the gender war thing, I think as a black community, that's the one issue we need to address, and we need to get back to making the black nuclear family a thing again. I think that needs to be the driving force of black people in this country.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree. Uh, man, the Willie Lynch letter is so deep. We can go on and on. Yeah, man. But if especially my concern is that if the youngest are not educated, a lot of them will be playing out the Willie Lynch letter like some of us did, and don't even. The thing is, a lot of them don't even care or want to realize it. That's what's scary. That's what's scary. But we can't. We got to do what we can. Like I heard you say 78 and some other brothers in LDBC. Not everybody gonna make it, right? But we just have to do what we can. All right, here's a little touchy topic. Now, I will say this: if you do have a spouse that is a different color, this is no offense or attack to who you love, but um, we will talk about uh, white supremacy using it as a weapon. We will talk about that. Okay. So you notice I got the three sisters here. Not picking on the sisters because I just love them. That's Erica Alexander from Living Singer Siegel. Serena Williams with her white husband, and then one of my favorite actors, Alfre Woodard, with her white husband. So the question is, with interracial marriage prevalent, like not saying because we were talking offline, Coach, you said basically most of us black men do want the stats do say most of us do want a black woman, but what the media is pushing is a whole bunch of interracial stuff going on, and this is something I peeped. I heard a lot of other brothers talk about it, um, but it's interesting. So, um, with interracial marriage prevalent, is it a weapon used against the black family?
Uh,
78, what you think?
I think it is. I think when you see TV commercials purposely targeting interracial marriages, making that look like that's the norm or something that's the normal thing to do. Um, when we already have an issue with the black family where there's this rift, this divide, um, I'm not really a big fan of them pushing that agenda. Now, people can love who they want to love. I don't get involved with that. Like, you fall in love with a white girl,
Right, right.
I mean, that's their business. Everybody got a right to be happy. You know what I mean? But my thing is, I don't like when the media pushes that down our throat or makes it they make it seem as though black men are always looking for a white woman. The black women are now being pushed down the avenue of looking for white men, and you start to see that with these celebrities now. You start to openly marry different people outside their race and stuff like that. We got enough problems ourselves, right? With our own beauty standards, how we feel about each other, self
Hmm.
love, self hate. We got too much of that. We can't afford to be messing with nobody else, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because
I
when
share
you
the same opinion.
when you take that kind of stuff, when you already got self hate issues, insecurity issues, then you take that to another race of people. All right. First of all, I make you look weak, unstable, all right, and it puts those people on a higher level than you, a superior level than you are, because you're dealing with all this trauma that hasn't been dealt with, not traditionally hasn't been dealt with through therapy and stuff like that. Um, so I think that, like I said, I want to be careful with this one because it's a tricky topic. A lot
Yeah, it is.
of, a lot of brothers got they white girls and vice versa, so they feel how they feel about it. But me personally, I've always loved women in general, but I always have my preference is black women. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I was raised around. That's what I like. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But you know,
Yes, sir. And I had you had me crying one day, 78, when I remember on your show, you didn't know Erica Alexander, excuse me, was married to a white dude, and you were hurt that day. You were hurt that day.
but who was married to a white dude?
Erica Alexander,
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
Max from Living Single.
yeah,
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 I was
yeah,
gonna say Max from Living Single. Yeah,
yeah. I was hurt that day, man. I always had things for Max, man. But brothers take too long to pop the question. Instead of telling the sister we love her and trying to build something with her. That's why when everybody got mad at Serena Williams, all these ninjas dated her. I ain't seen none of them propose to her.
Drake, Common, like a bunch of brothers, you know.
Yeah, nobody proposed to her. So I mean, it is what it is. A lot of people grow up, like I said, with self hate issues, being told constantly that. Look, I seen some. Look, we the only people who do this, man, and we still do this in 2025. Somebody sent me this thing on Instagram where it's a video of this brother. He real dark skin, right? Super dark skin.
Right.
And I think the picture got him like sweating or something. It's like a dark picture, right? So they trying to play off the fact that you can't see him. Like, so you got a comment section full of black people cracking up laughing, talking about, hey man, he black as hell. Hey man, look, hey man, dude, they going through this whole spiel about how black he is, tar baby, and this and that. I'm
Hmm.
saying, like, bro, the sad part is that same dude will be treated like he's some type of god by some white chick. Some white chick can see him and be in lust for his skin and all that, and elevate him, make him feel strong and proud. And that's all she wrote. You ain't gonna be able to tell him nothing negative about white folks like that.
Yeah, we love to tear each other down because it's and in my opinion it's a coward um it's a coward's way to tear down a people that's already been um attacked, or is currently under attack.
Right.
um yeah, we just love to we got a bone to pick with each other. It's crazy, man. Like I said, go back to like we just discussed, going back to the Willie Lynch letter, and like you said, a lot of people say that it's fake, but hell, it's working. Look at the mindset. What did General just tell us?
Yeah,
Black. Go
you
ahead.
can't put nothing past these when these dudes say stuff fake, bro. I just roll my eyes and ignore them because some of these dudes out here saying slavery never happened. They say the Willie Lynch letter is fake. The moon landing is fake. The Earth is flat. Like, bro, it's some different people out here. Some different people out here. So I never let that kind of stuff get to me. Somebody else want to be a nut job, let me be a nut job.
When you told me there were black folks saying that slavery wasn't real, I almost blew a gasket, man, because I'm from the South, bro. I know white families that still got their slave laws from slavery days.
Right.
When they family owed slaves, they had the slave logs of all the slaves that they kept.
Yeah, and I got recently with me and my cousins been doing our family tree. tracing stuff back. And we recently just found uh, one of the slave masters of our family.
Yeah.
Recently. And you know what's sad too, man, is
Hmm.
that this when we see the picture of this dude, right? His son, not the picture, the actual slave owner, but his son. Okay, it's an old picture. We seen it on the ancestry.com thing, whatever, right?
Right.
He owned our family on my mother's side, and the sad part is we doing all this tracing of roots and DNA and all type of stuff, but when it says okay, great grandma such and such, great grandma Elsie had 5 kids. Her husband was uh, Jim Taylor, hypothetically, right? Okay, you assume Jim Taylor is the father of all the kids, but no, because now you gotta wonder why some of these kids look like this white man over here.
Yeah, elder bars. Yeah.
Right, right. Why the kids look like dudes? Why all our family got that little weird little nose, a little Arab nose? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you gotta look at that kind of stuff, bro. I'm telling you, it's
Yeah.
sad, bro. It's sad, bro. But the more I look and dig into it, so. But anyway, my point was to say that, to say this: I can trace my family back to Africa, right? At least on my mom's side, I can. My dad's side, I'm still working on it, but I know for sure my father's father was part Native American. I know that for sure. Okay, so we are gonna have some black folks that was here in America. We already know that. But to say that we all was here and we all didn't come from Africa, it's just stupid. It's stupidity, bro.
Yeah. I don't get these new dudes. Like you said, I try to stay away from them. I
Well,
try to
y'all got to
stay away
realize
from 'em.
mental health issues run rampant in today's day and age in 2025. So I just
Yes.
attribute a lot of that to mental health issues.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, man. And Coach, we, because me and the general was cooking. What's your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, in terms of you know interracial marriage being prevalent, is it a weapon against the black family? Yes, indeed. Of course, it is. So I think collectively, as a whole, I think it's a weapon used against the black family. However, individually, I'm not. My personal preference is because you got to realize when I was going to Southern University, a lot of times I would try to talk to certain females in my class, certain young ladies or whatever. And I'm not gonna lie, like I used to get shot down, whatever, whatever. However, I remember this one particular day, saying something in education, I had to take the praxis test. So I had to go to LSU. And from a cultural standpoint, like LSU and Southern are like extremely different. You go to Southern, you see guys riding around with the sound systems in the trunk, the loud music. Guys get out the car. They got maybe like a fresh pair of J's on, a pair of starched down Jabot jeans, polo shirt. Like that was like the vibe in the late '90s at Southern, and it's still kind of prevalent. Maybe not from the same standpoint in terms of fashion, in terms of the Jabot jeans and the polo shirt or whatever kind of gear you wear. Maybe fat form or FUBU or whatever the fashion in terms of maybe like the shirts and the jeans are different, but they still wearing J's, whatever the case may be. However, you go across town to LSU, you might have a white person that literally just roll out of bed, maybe brush their teeth, wash their face, and just came to class with pajamas on. Now I'm not saying all white people that went to LSU that was the way they dress, because of course the black people that went to LSU they're just the kind of the same way black people came from Southern did. Because I guess from a cultural standpoint, even though you might be from all across the country, they're still dressed in Baton Rouge the same. But, you know, the way the white students came to class and presented themselves was completely different. But even with that being said, I went to take this practice test. You know, my mom is in education too. She's kind of quasi-retired, or really retired all the way at this point. But her and I had to take this practice test. I was supposed to go before her, but she ended up coming after me. I mean, I ended up coming after her because LSU's campus is so big, I got lost. So anyway, I was going in to take my test and she was coming out. And, you know, the chick was like, excuse me, ma'am, is that your son? She was like, yeah, that's my son. She was like, oh, he's kind of handsome. And I told her, like, hey, that was kind of my experience at the time where a lot of times I wasn't even trying to talk to the white chicks, but they used to tell somebody like, hey, I like him, but I never really dated white chicks. So, you know, listening to somebody like Terrell Owens, him tell his story, or even listening to the general one day, you know, he was talking about like maybe his brother having like a similar experience as Terrell Owens. So when people marry outside of their race, because even one of my good coaching friends, you know, he's married to a white woman and they have like kids together. So I don't knock people individual preference or personal preference in terms of marrying outside of their race. But like I was telling you, you and I was talking backstage before the show started, and I watched this the same YouTube channel we used a few weeks back. I was watching it last night, and it was showing a clip from a podcast where the guy was saying that over 85% of black women and black men marry each other. Like, so 85% of black men that are married in this country marry black women. And they were saying, well, what about guys that make $200,000 or more? Because the narrative is professional athletes, whether they play in the NFL or the NBA or whatever the case may be, once they make it from a financial standpoint, they cross the racial lines and they marry white women or women of other races, cultures, or whatever the case may be. And it's even higher. 95% of black men making $200,000 or more marry black women. And of course, she was shocked. She was saying 60%. But the thing they don't realize, this is a narrative that a narrative and agenda that's being pushed that tells the black man that, hey, black women hate black men and black men hate black women. That's a narrative that they push, going back to the Willie Lynch letters we talked about, and the destabilization tactics that we talked about in you know, at the very beginning of the show. They try to create these racial divides between black men and black women, and more than anything, try to divide the black nuclear family. So we have to realize this is a tactic that is used by white supremacy. And at the end of the day, I'm not gonna lie, like I say, if people can have their personal preference all they want. I know me personally, you know, I date black women. I was married to a black woman, and you know, my hope in the future is that I get married again and that I have a family of my own. But at the end of the day, whether it's the passport bro movement, whether it's swirling, whatever the case may be, people got to realize the vast majority of black men marry black women and vice versa. You know, the thing I hate with the swirling conversation is people can marry who they want, but I'm not gonna lie. I don't know about y'all individuals, but me personally, I hate when I used to see black guys when they would date black women, they'd have the baddest black woman they could find. You know, she used to have long hair, and you know, she used to have, you know, a nice body and be extremely pretty or beautiful, and had to be fine and sexy and this, that, and the third. But that same brother, he get with him a snow bunny, and she could be morbidly obese. She could be missing multiple teeth. She could have multiple children by multiple different guys. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And the same thing with a lot of these swirl of black chicks I'm seeing nowadays. When they did the black guy, oh, he got to be over 6 feet tall. He got to have swag. You know, he got to stay fresh. He got to, you know, have starched down jeans and J's, and he got to be swagged out. But yet you get with the white guy, and he's square. He's a nerd. He's a cornball. And truthfully speaking, I'm not gonna lie. You know, even though I played sports, you know, I was always a video game. I always was a square guy. But these guys would be considered like super duper square compared to me because
I'm pretty like this. The dudes we used to push in the locker. Go ahead.
Yeah, even though As a guy, I was on the football team, but I played video games, this, that, and the third. These guys might be a gamer and he a nerd and he has good grades like me, but he's not athletic at all. He's just strictly in his books and his video games or whatever. And I'm like, hold up. You said I didn't have enough swag for you to talk to me. But guess what? When it comes to swag, you compare me to him. It's like, this dude is no match to me. So I don't understand why I was too square for you to date me. But you date this guy, and this guy is 10 times the square that I am. It's like, it doesn't make sense. So that's the thing, that, and not only that, but the black men that date black outside of their race, that don't date black women, they tear down black women, or the black women that date outside their race and they tear down black men. I can't stand when you tear down your own people to go be with them other groups of people. And like we said in the first slide, like certain cultures, like it's forbidden for them to date outside of their culture. And I kind of give you an example. When I was going to Southern, I had this econ class, and I had like the second highest grade in the class. But this chick that had the highest grade, she was Indian. I don't know if she was East Indian, but she was Indian. But the thing about it is, she looked like a black girl, though, if you saw her. So I didn't know she wasn't black. But, her and I started talking because she had the highest grade in class. I had the second highest. We both had A's, but I had like a 90. They had like a 98. She had like a 100. So I was trying to talk to her, and she was like, you're a nice guy and all. Woo. I mean, maybe she didn't like me. Maybe she's used as an excuse, but she was saying that they weren't allowed to date outside their race because she said her older sister went to LSU and she was secretly dating this white guy at LSU, and she got engaged to her, and her parents told her that if she married him, they were going to disown her and that they were going to have nothing to do with her. So she broke off the engagement with the white guy because they didn't believe in dating outside of their race. So I hate to say it, truthfully speaking, I think more people should have that same mindset. We need to be on one accord. We need to be as one. We need to stick together. And we need to have one vision. If myself and a woman was together, if we have more than one vision as a couple, then at least a division. We need to be on one accord. We need to have the same singular focus. And as a black community, we need to get back to that, to the black nuclear family.
Okay, yeah. Not all of it. Everybody's not gonna have the same mindset, but I'm be honest with you. I agree, man. I think more of us need to date within our own race so we can build more pride and more wealth in the black communities. But um, it remains to be seen. Um, okay, all right, moving on. All right, fellas, we're gonna wrap it up. Closing thoughts. Any final thoughts on basically what we talked about, or anything you want to say?
I think black people have to get back to loving black folks. I know that's easier said than done, but we gotta stop believing and stop being attracted to all the negative things about each other.
Yes.
Whenever we hear something negative, whenever we see something in the news, like I bet you some dumb ninja who did it. I bet you this. We got to get out of that mentality, bro, and get back to love, because our racial pride, the love that we once had for our race, is gone.
It's in toilets, yes, sir.
Yeah, it's horrible. So we gotta fix that issue, and start with fixing ourselves. Um, Taking pride in yourself, doing the best you can for you to be proud of yourself. Then looking for a woman and looking for a family and starting to build from there, and making sure we take care of our kids and making sure that we not having kids until we're ready to take care of them. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people out here just fucking, but and just having babies, but neither one of them prepared to have a child. Y'all mad at each other. The dude mad at the girl because she wouldn't have an abortion, and the girl mad at the dude because he not making her feel secure to have a baby. So it just leads to a lot of nonsense. It's like an epidemic of people do harming their kids, doing all kind of crazy stuff going on right now. So make sure that that's my advice to you. Make sure that you ain't having kids until you're ready.
Yes, and thank you for that, General. We have a question here from my brother, Big Red, host of Big Boy Talk. Appreciate you stopping by. He says, "Question: What happened to just finding a person you love, no matter what they look like? Because otherwise, you just feeding back into racism." Anybody want to answer that?
So, question: What happened to what you said?
He said, "What happened to just finding the person you love, no matter what they look like, because otherwise you just feeding back into their racism."
Well, I think that in the perfect world that black people always want to live in, but the perfect world don't exist. The world where there's no racism and we can do it. No, man. There's no. Yeah, I know he spit on you, and I know he kicked your son in the face, but no, you're gonna love his son. No, man, we're not gonna do that. No, listen, bro. All that kind of stuff. I'm not. No disrespect to nobody, but bro, I'm not. No, I'm not trying to make it to heaven and all that stuff. Turn the other cheek and all that. I will take that up with the good Lord when I see him, if I'm able. But right now, I'm gonna treat people the way they treat me and mine. And if I walk into a room and a bunch of people saying, blackie, blackie, I'm not gonna say, oh, I love you, though. White women, hey, I love you. Let's just be friends. No, I can't do it. So my thing is this: black folks have always wanted to live in a society where there's no racism, there's no, and we're pure-hearted people.
Yeah, we're the most. Can I say this, General? And you cooking?
Yeah,
I just want to interject.
go ahead.
Black people, we got some prejudiced black folk, but we are the most unracist folk walking
Right.
in America.
Yeah.
We're a lot of us are sweet, you know what I mean, and kind, but it just when it comes to our own, it's not the other way. But go ahead.
No, hey, I want to interject real quick. I ain't trying to cut you off, General, but I think the way Big Reg phrased it, I think he talking about find a person you love, no matter what they look like. I think he talking about in the context of a relationship. You understand what I'm saying?
What we talking about? Is he talking about
No, he said finding a person you love, no matter what they look like. I think he talking about in the context of a relationship.
But is he talking about just with black people, or is he talking about?
Yeah. I mean, that's the way he phrased it. I kind of.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't know if you were talking about interracial dating or just liking for somebody for because you like them or whatever. Because that's what I was responding to. Like, if you talking about,
I think it's about the interracial dating.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, because like, look, I got the problem. You can like who you like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, everybody can like who they like. I got family members. You know what I'm saying? That's married outside their race and stuff like that. I don't hate nobody for being married outside their race, but my thing is like, this is a strategic war going on to destroy the black family. I know that, and because I have to take responsibility for what's going on out here, and I have to make sure I'm leading a strong black family. Me personally, that's how I'm gonna get down. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna fall for the other okey doke.
I agree. I agree. And again, this is not if you got a spouse that's a different color or whatever, that's your choice. And if it works for you, and then you're she got your back, that's all that matters. We're talking about the the attack on the black family that has been proven, that's been going on for generations.
Right.
And unfortunately, interracial marriage has been one of them. So if you got something true, that we ain't talking about you. We ain't talking about you. Okay. But 7 8, we kind of interjected while you were cooking. Were you done?
Oh yeah, I'm done. I'm just saying, like, we just that's what we gotta do as a people, man. We just gotta get back on. We gotta put black first, man. In my opinion, if we put black first, and that don't mean you gotta hate nobody else. It just means you gotta love yourself. Love yourself enough not to participate in nothing that's going to destroy your people. You know what I mean? And that's all I can say, bro, right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Coach.
Well, in terms of answering the big reg question, really I think, well, in fact, hold up, he he said, yeah, I'm just saying a relationship being with the person who makes you happy rather than saying I can't be with you because yeah. So y'all are right. Y'all answering it right. But I know for me personally, in terms of the question he was asking, uh, truthfully speaking, I think the way modern women are programmed, and you see it all the time, whether it's Kendra G, whether it's Pop the Balloon Show, I think these dating shows, because I remember when I was coming up, there was this show called Love Connection. And to me, it was like a good, cool show to watch. But if you had Love Connection in 2025, it would have the same dysfunction as Kendra G's dating show or the Pop the Balloon show, 20 versus 1, all these crazy dating shows, and you see all this ratchetness and this nonsense. I think if you brought Love Connection back in 2021, I'm sorry, 2025, it would have the same dysfunction as Kendra G's show or Pop the Balloon or 20 versus 1 or whatever. So I think women have been programmed to kind of, hey, I want a guy that's over 6 feet tall, that's making six figures, that has six pack abs, and is packing or whatever the case may be. I don't care. He got to be a guy with a lot of swag, a lot of style, fashionable. I don't care if I'm morbidly obese and I have 7 children for 7 different men. I could be the most mediocre woman in the world, but in terms of a man, I want a man that's in the top 1% of the top 1%. I don't just want a unicorn. I want Bigfoot riding a unicorn. And that's the crazy thing to me. Some of these women are so delusional. If you was to take a man and put him in that same category and say, hey, the only kind of woman I want is a supermodel. Anything else, I'm settling. You would think, man, this dude is delusional. He crazy. But these women think that way. So I think that's why so many modern women, have the view they have when it comes to dating, and they have the approach that they have. Because I think they've been programmed and conditioned to believe. Now, in terms of my final thoughts, I think this was a dope show. It was a great episode. Like the general said, I think first and foremost, I think it's a black community. We need to get back to being a black community. And the best way we could do that is getting back to being the black nuclear family.
Hmm.
And, one thing the sister Kendra, Crimson Cure, talked about, shout out to her. Her show, she does an excellent job of, talking about issues that affect the black community. But I think the main thing she talked about in yesterday's live stream is the reason why America is what it is today. Don't get me wrong, we talked about the destabilization tactics and how basically it was divide and conquer, not just with the black family, even though the black family was the biggest target and impacted the most. I think at the end of the day, in terms of modern day Babylon that we living in, negativity reigns supreme, but the nuclear family was what made this country what it was in like the 60s. Marriage rates were high across the board, but feminism kind of came in and it destroyed the nuclear family as we knew it. And even you have like the Democratic Party that's pushing the zesty agenda. And I think that's part of the thing. You want to divide people, keep people separate so they could spend more, so we could tax everybody. To me, I think it was all a part of this game. And I think each individual person is a pawn in this chess game in terms of, dividing up the nuclear family and having people spend money, and you brainwash women into thinking, hey, you strong, independent, you don't need no man. That way she could spend all of her money and we could tax her in addition to that. And the same thing with the man, hey, I'm single, I don't need no with the woo. I'm gonna do my own thing. And people need to realize men and
Hey,
women
Coach.
are better together, especially the black nuclear family. We better together than we are apart. And we need to get back to being that because uh not
Hey,
only does it
coach,
increase
hold on, coach. Say about to say something.
uh-huh.
Oh no, no, no. My bad, y'all. I gotta open my door real quick. I'll holler at you in a minute.
All
All right.
right, peace,
All right,
man. But like I was saying, basically, we need to get back to the black nuclear family, and we need to be as one. Like Kevin Samuel said, you know, black women need to lower their expectations, and you just find a guy that you can come to the table with. Just say, "Hey, let's make a deal. Let's get together. Let's have a family." So on and so forth. And the last point I'm gonna close with, Kendra, she talks about the reason why this country is so in the toilet is because there's no morality in terms of religion. Like 7 days say, we don't push no ism or schism, but at least just say, for example, you're a Muslim, you're a Christian or whatever, you have a guide, a compass, a moral value system that's gonna stop you from doing ridiculous things like going to Africa and twerking on the grave of our ancestors, walking through the turkey leg hut butt naked. Like, shame is not a thing in 2025 in America, but especially when it comes to a lot of our sisters, it's like, man, there's no shame, it's no decorum. We could say the same thing, but a lot of the brothers that's ratchet. And 7 days say
Yeah.
this all the time, like, hey, I love black people, but I can't stand ninjas. And I hate to say it, in 2025, negativity reigns supreme because there's no moral compass, there's no religion, there's no anything from a moral standpoint that guides a lot of people. That's why people do all of these crazy things. People say stupid stuff, do stupid stuff just to go viral. And people, attention is the modern day drug. It's like attention is more powerful than cocaine and heroin and anything else. So at the end of the day, I think we need to get back to some sense of morality, so some sense of spiritualness, whether it's Christianity, Islam, whatever the case may be. And we just need to get back to being a nuclear family, and we need to understand that we are better together than we are apart. And that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest threat against white supremacy is black unity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the number one enemy, and that's why they move the way they do. So well said. And yes, 70 had to drop off and take care of business. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I appreciate all that came by and just to listen to us, man. I appreciate y'all. See y'all in the chat. I didn't get a chance to shout y'all out, but I saw y'all. Big Reg, host of Big Boy Talk, with the excellent question. Sister Shawa Laya, always supporting. Jab Jamboree, uh,
Brother
Big
Act.
Joe Town, Big Brother Act, yeah. You got a awesome gaming channel. Uh, Big Joe Town, always supporting. Uh, J Bar, The Mitchell Show. Who else? Jamil, just saying, and then my brother 86 Ghost, and I Am Waffles, and Straight to the Point Sports and Entertainment. We appreciate all of you. Coach, let everybody know where they can meet you. They can meet you and see you.
Well, before we get to me, the general had to drop off, but for all y'all, go check out our brother 7 Sports TV.
Please do.
His primary channel is 7 Sports TV. His backup channel is the No 304 Show. Tomorrow at usually at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, he goes live himself and the brother Blu-ray Fitness. So go check him out tomorrow night. Also, go check out 7 Sports TV Patreon. He has 2 Patreons. If you're in the game, dogs.
Y'all
Game
missing
Dog
out.
Talk. He has a Patreon for the dogs, and he also has a Patreon where he has these type of conversations all the time. So go check out his Patreon. In terms of my brother Jared 11 Green, tomorrow on this channel, usually 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, we do the Southern Baller Show. So all y'all individuals that dropped in, we appreciate greatly if y'all will bless us with y'all presence tomorrow while we have episode, I think 75, 76 of the Southern Baller Show. Come back and check us out. And me personally on my channel, 7 Sports TV. I'm sorry, let me say 7 on my channel, Coach 67 Sports TV. I talk about boxing. I talk about Southern University, football. In my upcoming either video or live stream, I'm going to talk about the case of Trey Lang, a Southern University player a couple years ago that had an excellent spring game. And after he had a great spring game, he jumped into the transfer portal. I think he's been in like 4 different schools. So I'm going to talk about Trey Lang and his individual case and how today's modern like structure of college sports, college football in particular, how it's kind of like the Wild Wild West. So come on my channel and check me out. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a blessed, phenomenal day. Peace and blessing to everybody.
Yes, I appreciate all of y'all for stop by again. Yes. That's a wrap up for episode 2 of the Black Man Perspective. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Y'all have a blessed day.